The Asus ROG STRIX Z790-H gaming Wi-Fi is a powerful motherboard for those looking to build a no-compromises PC on a budget. Starting with the power delivery, it has a 16-phase 80-amp VRM setup, which is enough to power any Intel LGA 1700 CPU. Other than the VRM, the Z790H supports RAM speeds of 7,800 megatransfers per second, and you can install a total of 4 DIMMs with up to 192 gigabytes of total system memory. Moving to the more impressive stuff, I must say, the rear I/O is simply stunning, and you can get pretty much everything you could hope for. There are 2 USB 2.0 ports that thankfully free up the rest of the ports from having to host the mouse and keyboard. There are also 2 USB Type-C ports and 6 more USB Type-A ports, which are all running at USB 3.2 or faster speeds. Then there are the BIOS flash and CMOS clear buttons for easy debugging, along with a DisplayPort and HDMI port. For networking, the Z790H has a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3. There's a complete array of audio jacks with optical SPDIF that are connected to the Savitech SV3H 712A for top-quality hi-fi audio. It also has 4 PCIe 4.0 M2 slots and 4 SATA 3 ports. I'm glad that this motherboard exclusively uses PCIe Gen 4 slots for SSDs. This way, if you install a PCIe Gen 5.0 SSD in the first slot and use the first PCIe 5.0x16 slot for a graphics card, there'll be no PCI bifurcation. This smart move means that no matter where you install the SSD, you can be sure that it's performing at its best. One cool perk of the PCIe 5.0x16 slot is the quick release button. If you need to remove a GPU from the slot, simply push this button and the GPU will pop right out. This feature should become industry standard by now, but I do understand that the motherboard makers need to add a lot more mechanisms to make it happen. Still, it's cool, and expensive boards should include this for standing out above the rest. Moving on. While I have nothing but praise for this motherboard, I have some concerns that need to be addressed. Firstly, the Z790H is built on a 6-layer PCB, which is adequate for any type of board for preventing electrical signal isolation. However, since this is a powerful motherboard, it would have greatly benefited with a thicker 8-layered PCB. Another thing that I didn't like at all is how this motherboard looks. Usually looks don't bother me that much, but I really wish Asus toned down the branding all over the rather modest-looking Z790H. Looks aside, the Z790H is a strong contender among many strong contenders. These are the Gigabyte Z790 Aorus Elite AX, MSI Mag Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi, and the ASRock Z790 Steel Legend. Ultimately, the Z790H manages to edge out all of these by not skimping out on any port or button in the rear I/O. The Z790H has what I would consider to be basically a perfect rear I/O, like the MSI Mag Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. However, it's even more balanced since the Z790H has USB 2.0 ports and an ever so slightly stronger VRM. In conclusion, Asus has added a more budget-friendly member to their ever-growing lineup of Strix motherboards. Just like any of them, the ROG STRIX Z790H is an incredibly powerful motherboard with a lot of sensible options made for it. Looking past the over-the-top design, this is a well-rounded board that suits almost anyone's needs. To sum up, what I like is the top-of-the-line VRM configuration, the excellent rear I/O setup, and the smart PCIe layout. On the downside, awful aesthetics, and the PCB lacks layers. Ratings: VRM design, 9.5 out of 10. Features, 8.5 out of 10. Aesthetics, 6 out of 10. Value for money, 8.5 out of 10. For an overall rating of 8.5 out of 10.